Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's video, I'm discussing just another reason why you should have a level of preparedness. Right now, going on in Shepherd, Texas, there's a chemical fire at a plant. There was a little explosion, and the Livingston Police Department and the county has issued a shelter in place order. They don't know exactly, because it's only a couple of hours old. They don't know exactly the cause of the explosion yet, and they don't know how bad the smoke is going to be. They've released a couple of maps showing the affected area, showing the people that need to shelter in place. They've said turn off your HVAC systems and, you know, wait for the smoke to clear, quite literally. So if you are at work, then you're kind of stuck at your work. If you're at school, you're kind of stuck at school. If you're at home, you're stuck at home. So hopefully you have some sort of preparations made. But if you don't, there's a lot of reasons why you'd have to shelter in place. A lot of them are going to involve the environment. Some of them are natural made, fires, flooding, inclement weather, things like that. Others are human made that affect the environment and could also cause a shelter in place. So, the things that you should have to, weather through these kind of storms, your key three for this are going to be food, water, and air. That's why they're telling them to turn off their HVAC systems so they don't get any of this chemical smoke inside of their home causing any issues, because you can only really breathe for about 3 minutes without oxygen. All right, the second part of that, in the immediate aftermath, is going to be water. So for that, if you're at work, you really can't have, you know, days upon days worth of water. But if you don't have any of these, I suggest picking up a Nalgene or two, keeping one full inside of your desk at work, inside of your vehicle. Uh, when you do any of that stuff, it allows you to have, at least a day's worth of water. Maybe it's a good idea to have a Camelback full. You don't want to go excessive and kind of be an alarmist, but having, at least a day's worth of water with you at all times is going to be really important for things like this. So, yeah, it probably isn't going to take all that long, and, they'll be able to send people home. But in your home, if you're in a shelter in place, you should have plenty of space to store water. Underneath our bed, we've got 4 or 5 5-gallon water jugs that stay full and get rotated, 3 times a year. That way, if we had to shelter in place inside of our home, we've got, about a week's worth of water inside. Now, I would take the risk to go outside to my 55-gallon water storage and bring water inside if we had to. Another great option, which I keep in my bathroom closet, is a bathtub water tank or water bladder. I think the one I have is like a 60 gallon. They make them for various sizes, ranging from about 30 up to 100 gallons. But if you know there's going to be some sort of issue, you stick it inside your bathtub, you fill it up from your bathtub faucet, and the one that I have has a little, like pump on it that you can pump the water out. That way you can keep doing the different things in your house. And that's something that, you fill up right after an emergency is called, or in a lot of cases where you know that something bad's going to happen, like a hurricane, or, they're talking about tornadoes in your area, you can fill that up. The third thing you need to worry about is food. The human body can go roughly 3 weeks without food, but you will notice within the first 3 to 5 days of not having any calories, especially if you're doing something, you're going to feel more fatigued. And if you are being physically active, then you're going to notice it a good bit sooner. That's why in my get home bags, I keep protein bars, I keep different MRE meal pieces. I've got a couple of those. They're like 2,000 calorie emergency bars that are like super condensed, and it's worse than eating a Popeye's biscuit, but it's a concentrated amount of calories that take up very little space and don't weigh a lot. But those are just things that if you were stuck in one spot for a prolonged period of time, I've got about 72 hours worth of food if I'm being physically active. So I'm eating 2,500 calories because I'm, working or trying to get home and doing a lot of rucking. And then it's closer to 4 to 7 days worth of food if I was just being stationary in one spot, not moving, and I'm just eating calories to maintain the current weight that I'm at. After that, you throw in medical and security and shelter and all these other things. Depending on where you're at, the shelter that you have might not really be necessary. Depending on where you're at, your security levels are going to go up and down versus what you can and can't have with you. And then for your medical, at a bare minimum, you should have some sort of individual first aid kit. And once you have yourself covered, then you kind of almost want to have a secondary IFAC. So you've got, you know, 2 tourniquets, you've got extra gloves, an extra mask, more bandages that could be dispersed among several other people. Your general over-the-counter medications. Maybe instead of keeping, 2 or 3 doses of pain medicine, you up it to 4 or 5 doses. And you don't really want your medical to turn into you almost having like a medic type role, but you'll have extra stuff that you can help the other people at your work, or a lot of this changes when you're in your home because you've got your vast supply of things and you're just kind of waiting for things to blow over. So hopefully they get this fire put out and we figure out the cause of it, and injuries are minimized. But for now, it's mostly just a waiting game. You're just waiting for the fire to get out, the smoke to clear, and your last little tip for that is having something to keep yourself entertained. Right now, I'm reading The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. I'm a history person. That can keep me entertained for probably 3 or 4 weeks while I read the book. Smaller things to keep you entertained is a deck of cards. If you have books downloaded on your phone, you can read there. If you have videos downloaded, you could download this video and have it prepped and ready to go. Or you can download any of the other videos. But having something to keep yourself entertained while you're sitting and waiting for the smoke to clear. And because I talked about it, if I had to shelter in place in my home, obviously I could sit here and play with the dog. Come here. We could sit here and play with the dog and keep her tail wagging, and that could entertain you for a good little bit. But other great things to have is we have plenty of puzzles that we have not finished. More puzzles, a couple more games. More games, more games, more games, more games. This is not the deck of cards that I recommend you keeping with you, and more games. So, keeping yourself entertained in these terrible situations could help make the time pass by a lot quicker. Esmeralda, come on. I'm not supposed to be in that room. And one other thing that I didn't mention is just keeping up with the issues that are at hand. So, being hyper vigilant, knowing when there's going to be a problem. We're still in hurricane season. Haven't heard about a storm in a little bit, but if you live in those areas that you are affected in, spending 2 or 3 minutes a day just checking to make sure, looking at the weather and, making sure nothing bad is coming your way, and, just keeping up with the Joneses, making sure, everything is in order. Because if they're predicting something and there's a high probability of it affecting you, you don't want to be caught with your pants down. So, all that being said, like the channel if you enjoy what we're doing, subscribe to help me get past this 301 subscriber mark. Leave your comments down below, ask questions, they typically turn into videos. And if you have a friend or family member that would benefit from these videos, share the channel with them. And with that, catch you in the next one.